Let's jump right into this explainer, where we're going to untangle the hard geopolitical facts from the absolute whirlwind of internet conspiracies surrounding Albania's Sazan Island. If you've been online lately, you've probably seen this crazy mashup: massive real estate deals, Donald Trump's inner circle, and global pop stars all tangled into one chaotic narrative. So today, we're figuring out what's literally happening on the ground and, maybe more fascinatingly, how online culture has completely twisted those facts into a modern myth.
Here is the roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with the hard economics and environmental backlash of the deal, then pivot to how internet algorithms hijack the story with pop star sirens and secret elite rituals. Let's get into it. Section 1. The Sazan Island Deal. Let's ground ourselves in the tangible reality of the Albanian coast. According to official geopolitical briefings, Albania has been quietly shifting its laws to heavily favor what they call strategic investors. Basically, if you show up with enough cash, the government can fast-track your development. That means bypassing the usual competitive bidding and environmental checks. The goal, of course, is to lure in massive foreign investment, but it's sparking intense debates about privatizing public land. Looking at the timeline, the pace is striking. Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law, visited the region a few times across 2023 and 2024. By December 2024, his farm was approved as a strategic investor to turn Sazan Island, which is this abandoned Cold War military base, into a luxury resort. Crucially, this 10-year special status was officially granted in January 2025. That was just days before Donald Trump's presidential inauguration. Fast forward a bit, and by June 2026, mass protests had erupted over the construction.
Moving on to Section 2, elite capital and corruption. Who is actually funding this thing? The proposed investment from Kushner's firm, Affinity Partners, is a staggering $1.4 billion. But here's the kicker. Kushner is primarily the broker here. The project is heavily backed by funds from the Saudi Arabian government. We're talking about a massive, massive influx of foreign elite capital flowing in to transform a historically significant island into high-end villas and an ultra-luxury eco-resort. Now, the juxtaposition here is wild. On one hand, you have this highly publicized $1.4 billion luxury investment. On the other hand, global watchdogs estimate that 1.6 billion euros in illicit, dirty money has recently flooded Albanian real estate. Critics are raising major red flags, arguing that luxury tourism and these mega resorts often act as a safe haven, a cover for oligarchic capital and money laundering. It begs the question, are these developments serving the public, or are they just aesthetically pleasing fronts for hiding illicit funds? Section 3. The Flamingo Revolution. Let's look at the immense real-world backlash. It's fascinating to see how critics and supporters interpret the exact same piece of land. For the developers, as Ivanka Trump was quoted saying, Sazan Island is a pristine, undiscovered paradise. It's romanticized as an untouched blank slate, practically begging for an exclusive eco-resort. But locals and environmentalists, they see it entirely differently. To them, it's a vital, protected ecosystem that belongs to the public, not to private billionaires. And the material reality hit the ground hard. By June 2026, bulldozers rolled into the environmentally sensitive Vjosa Narda zone, bypassing protections and allegedly destroying sea turtle nests in the process. This sparked absolute outrage, leading to what activists called the Flamingo Revolution. Thousands took to the streets in Tirana night after night, using the pink flamingo as a symbol for threatened wildlife. The backlash was so intense that Albania's anti-corruption body actually opened a formal investigation into the whole project. Which brings us to Section 4, Pop Stars as Modern Sirens. This is where the story takes a wildly unexpected turn into hyper-reality. In modern conspiracy culture, there's a recurring trope called the modern siren metaphor. Theorists genuinely believe that global elites use hyper-visible pop culture to exert power. In this mindset, pop stars are cast as literal modern-day sirens. The idea is that these incredibly famous performers are deployed to lower our collective moral guard, essentially seducing the public into accepting Western corporate capitalism and aggressive land grabs, all while distracting us from reality. And that is exactly what happened to global pop star Dua Lipa. Because she holds Albanian citizenship and frequently posts about the country's gorgeous beaches, pattern-seeking online communities arbitrarily shoved her into the Kushner narrative. They baselessly claimed her public image was being weaponized to glamorize the region for this specific Trump-linked takeover.
This is despite her having literally zero financial or political connection to the Sazan Island deal. Media attention and internet algorithms just completely warped the public perception of her everyday posts. The situation escalated in March 2026. Right as the Jeffrey Epstein client documents were being unsealed, Lipa publicly stated she refused to be a pawn in political warfare, calling out the elite structures that protect the ultra-wealthy. Instantly, internet factions weaponized that statement. Theorists started claiming her words were actually a coded attack on Donald Trump. They spun this elaborate, fictional narrative that she's a secret operative fighting a shadow war against the Trump family in Eastern Europe.
Section 5. The Elite Island Trump. Let's dive into the darkest corners of the online rumor mill.
To understand this, we have to grasp the concept of hyper-reality. For fringe online communities, a multi-billion-dollar resort isn't just a hotel development. They perceive it as a literal temple for elite power. There's a pervasive belief that the elite class, which Trump's network is a part of, uses highly symbolic acts and even dark secret rituals to construct and enforce their version of reality upon the rest of us. They see these rituals playing out metaphorically through celebrities and the media.
Driven by the very real, lingering trauma of the Jeffrey Epstein revolutions and fueled by recent investigations into actual Balkan human trafficking networks, the internet did what the internet does. They just copy and pasted the evil island template right onto the Kushner project. Because Epstein used a private island for horrific crimes, theorists baselessly allege Sazan Island is being set up for secret sex rituals and global trafficking. They completely ignore the documented, mundane corporate and environmental issues to focus on this hyper-reality. It is fascinating to watch how our brains build these myths. We naturally seek patterns to explain complex things. So, you take Sazan Island's eerie history as a secret Cold War bunker, you add high-profile political figures like the Trump family, and you throw in a massively famous pop star. It's basically a recipe for automatic conspiracy generation. The internet takes these entirely separate elements and treats unverified, metaphorical rumors as absolute sociological fact. Finally, Section 6, Perception versus Reality. It's time to put these two competing narratives side by side. When we look at material reality, we see documented environmental destruction, the privatization of a nation's public space, and highly credible concerns over illicit capital laundering by oligarchs. But in the internet's hyper-reality, we have algorithmic fixations on secret sex rituals, pop stars acting as globalist sirens, and deep state operations. It's hard geopolitical economics on the left and a fabricated algorithm-driven distraction on the right. Which leaves us with a pretty provocative thought to wrap up this explainer. Does obsessing over internet hyperreality actually protect the very elites that theorists claim to be fighting? By chasing modern sirens and hunting for coded media messages online, are we completely missing the very real bulldozers tearing up the beach right in front of us? It's definitely something to think about the next time a geopolitical headline gets mixed up with a celebrity meme. Keep questioning, keep digging, and I'll see you in the next explainer.